Hey, where are you guys setting up? Hi.
Hey, what's up?
Hey. I'll find a better place to stand, I promise.
Hello? Dude, we're in,
I can probably just... This will be okay.
no, the door's open, so 5 feet. Alright? Yeah, I got it. Yeah, 5 feet, like boy, alright? 5 feet. Yeah, I got it, let's go.
Very great. Holy, thank you. So I'm really good at these, so please bear with me. I have to tell you that I turned 47 a couple months ago. One of my sons turned 3 a couple days ago. Wondering if another 10 years. And we're celebrating 25 years of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I got you know, it's incredible that look at you guys. Come on, I mean, this is amazing. It's like it's a hard thing. I talked to this. I did a lot of interviews recently about Turtles 25 years and this and that, and what it always comes down to is sort of the fans. And I wouldn't have had the amazing life that I've had without guys like you. And after all this time, still wearing those Turtle T-shirts and come to see me here. It's pretty awesome. It's actually kind of freaky. It's a huge compliment, but I don't know how to take those things very well. I do appreciate it. What I guess I want to do, we're going to cover a couple things today, and I wanted to sort of share with you some special memories that I pulled together just for the show, some photographs. I kind of picked 25 photographs for the 25 years of the Turtles. A lot of it's from the early days because, Peter and I, that was sort of, when Peter and I first started working together, and I'll give you the short, how the Turtles were born and all that stuff quickly, and then show you some of these photos. That's actually where we lived, when we actually created the Turtle. Wow. But Peter and I, we actually, a lot of people don't realize we only did like 16, 17 issues together. Actually, where we were sitting in the studio, passing the pages back and forth, talking about the ideas, doing the layouts, the whole thing, and really living the dream of being a comic book artist. And then we were kind of blessed really early on with the Turtles graduating from comic books to all the things that the rest of the world saw, which is the animated stuff and the movies and all that stuff, which was awesome. But we went from a very short period of time of being comic book artists that were drawing probably 90% of the time and doing business 10% of the time to literally within a year span from 1987 to 1988 to doing business 90% of the time and drawing 10% of the time. And it was kind of trippy because you think, I think back that for the first comic book I saw, Jack Kirby, Commandy, that kind of stuff was my biggest influences, my biggest inspiration. That's all I ever wanted to do. So the first comic book I knew became so successful thanks to you guys then I don't get to draw anymore. No, but it's coming full circle. That's why I do all those amazing drawings at the booth, and you guys come by. Such great friends. So, for a lot of you, again, a lot of you guys that don't know, as I'm skipping all over the place here, the Turtles really started as a joke. It was probably the biggest heist in comic book history, as far as Peter and I sort of being children of comics, reading and digesting every kind of comic book. We had our favorites, Jack Kirby and that kind of stuff. And when we were sitting around the studio, not actually making any money, so it was late one night, and Peter used to watch some of the worst TV shows in the world, in my opinion. Something like the A-Team, TJ Hooker, that kind of stuff. And so I considered it my job to annoy him as much as possible while he was doing that. And so late one night, I did this sketch of a turtle standing there, had a mask on, and nunchuck strikes with his arms. And got the Ninja Turtle, I kind of tossed it on his desk, and he cracked out. He thought it was great. In the studio, one-upmanship kind of thing. He had to do a sketch to top my sketch. So he did the sketch, made it a little bit more like a turtle, smaller, more pea-like. And of course I had to one-up him, so I did this pencil drawing of 4 turtles standing there. Each one had a different weapon. And I did it in pencil, and I did this Ninja Turtle title block over the head, and I gave it to Pete. And he inked it in. And when he inked it in, he added the Teenage Mutant part. And, we were just beside ourselves. We laughed and we said, this is the dumbest thing we could think of. It really was. I mean, we took, we were inspired by, Frank Miller's Ronin, which you can see everything Frank Miller ever did in Daredevil. Teenage Mutants were very popular, the New Mutants, what Wilson Cavage and everybody was doing. One of our big inspirations, self-publishing, was a guy named Dave Sim, who was doing this book called Cerebus. In the early issues of Cerebus, he used to draw this little aardvark that acted like Conan the Barbarian, drawn like Barry Smith. And so the next day when we realized, well, we don't have any distracting painting work, let's try to come up with an idea of how these turtles got to be the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And that was in November of 1983. We started working on the book. We finished the book, I think, in February 1984, and I took a $500 income tax return that I had. We cleaned out all $200 Pete had in his bank account. We then didn't have enough money to print copies, so I borrowed $1,000 from an uncle. And we had enough copies to print, enough money to print 3,000 copies at a local printer. And we're quite positive we wouldn't even sell those. And fortunately we did. Those sold out quickly. The orders kept coming in. We sold another 6,000. And then we had this tremendous, sort of thing that sort of hit us where we never really thought of any stories beyond issue 1. We didn't think, that would sell, it would go anywhere. So we figured, well, let's try to figure out story 2, and that's where we introduced April and all these characters. So essentially, it was a really happy accident, and I remember that, for us, the dream really came true in January of 1985 when we got the orders for the second issue of the Turtles. We had pre-orders of 15,000 copies, which Pete did the math. He's better at math than me, still is. And we figured that we could each make $2,000 a piece. If we did 6 of these a year, we'd actually have enough money to pay our rent, draw comics full time, and that was pretty much it. That was the day I quit working in kitchens and hospital kitchens and doing all these odd jobs. I was able to draw full time, and that's really where the dream came true, I think, for both of us. Pretty awesome. But and that's then the rest will cover some of that later. But I just want to show you some pictures that I think are kind of funny, and it's sort of again.